Good afternoon, everybody. We are live. No Natalie today because it's half term. She's away with the kids, but I'm joined by the amazing Johnny. How are you doing, Johnny?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I
Big
like the
intro, that one.
introduction.
Big intro.
Yeah. No, I'm doing well. Doing well. Still in sunny England, as you can see, in the warehouse. Take
Not quite graduated to south of Southern Europe yet.
Not yet. Guessing a warehouse manager to stick seems to be harder than I originally thought. But yeah, one day we'll get a manager in, which I think is a simple job, but for some reason just struggling to get the right person. But yeah,
Yes.
I don't.
I think as well. You're all at a very bad time in terms of the general recruitment market. It's tough. I think it's challenging. I think the general recruitment is hard. Getting candidates is hard. Getting good people is hard. People because my wife's currently trying to recruit and they're finding it difficult to find good quality candidates. I think a lot of people as well. There's been a lot of talk recently about quit to kind of increase your salary. Obviously, a lot of people are feeling the pinch. Cost of living's always going up. So I think there's a lot of kind of like in the recruitment industry, a lot of people kind of just seeing what's out there without actually any serious intention of moving or just getting an offer in order to increase their own salary. So there's a lot of time being wasted in the recruitment industry. I don't know if anybody on here is in the recruitment industry who can shed any insight to this. But yeah, definitely, I think it's challenging from that sort of perspective to find good quality candidates.
Yeah, I think if you move jobs or try and optimize that, you can slowly increase your salaries and keep getting more buffers, increased salaries all the time with that more
Yeah.
experience. But um, yeah, it's a weird one because it shouldn't be too hard to find. It's quite I do think it's an easy job. I don't think it's too difficult, really, in sort of warehouse management and what we do. It's understanding basic compliance in a warehouse, so understanding health and safety, manual handling,
Yeah.
how to run like fire drills and stuff, like sort of basic stuff, which you could probably learn in a month or so. And apart from that, it's just sort of like knowing how to properly run sort of disciplinaries. It's not crazy hard sort of job to do. And apart from that, it's just, I guess a better manager would, optimize the warehouse and help in that way. But that's sort of my job, to be honest, isn't it? Really, it's our
Yeah.
job to optimize. As an entrepreneur, we want to, we want to work on. We don't want to work in the business. We want to work on the business and be creative, be the creative one where they do the operational, boring stuff. As
Yeah,
in,
absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things I've learned recently is that the skill set of an entrepreneur doesn't always make a good manager. The skill set of a manager is different to the skill set of an entrepreneur. People who spot opportunities, create businesses, um, that is a different skill set to actually running the business day to day. And I think that recognizing that's really important as a business owner.
yeah,
Chris has joined us. Chris says his brother is in recruitment. Says although most of the people he does with the six-figure salaries at the moment, although it's quite busy at the moment. So yeah, someone else is loving the high vis. I should wear high vis like proper warehouse suit.
yeah. So that's the thing. It's just like enforcing high vis, and my previous manager never did that. He was the worst manager you could probably think of, actually, and all and all metrics. But yeah, simple things like I always just wear high vis now. It's just like that's my coat now because it's just I might as well wear this rather than a normal coat. But like we've got to enforce stuff like that, and it does make the team when you're enforcing your team to wear high vis, it does seem more professional. People, it feels like people are there to work and not mess around. Easier to see people on CCTV and stuff as well.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I want to do now. We're changing. I've changed quite a lot of different things. We're changing the warehouse layout a bit. So we're getting rid of the conveyor. Hit me up if you want a 9-meter conveyor. Because you sort of realize after testing things that some things just don't work, some things just get in the way. conveyors are good. If you can work both sides, either side of the conveyor, it would work. But because our we do our production or our packing next to the wall, alongside the wall, we're only using one side of the conveyor, so it just gets used as basically storage. So we're creating just mixing things up, making our FBA tables a lot bigger, so there's a lot more room to prep. That's one thing that I realized with FBA, which slows things down, is our surface area to actually prep goods is not that much, and you really want a lot of surface area, right? So you can sort of, any all your products you have, you can all put it on the table, right, and do it at once rather than trying to find space. So yeah, we're building a custom table right now. Fun times. And then just moving all the things around. But yeah, it's that's the fun things. I enjoy that. I enjoy putting those sort of things into place and then seeing how people get on.
Yeah, for sure. Mark showing us, he says, I wear my high vis when I enter the warehouse. Even I had to wear one when I visited his warehouse. It was a lovely pink color as well. So I might invest in some pink high vises, Good luck.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one who wears yellow. I think orange is a cooler color. So my team will wear. But yeah, quite a lot of people have a color scheme, but I just kind of bought random ones from like Timo and Amazon. So now we just have a bunch of different variations. Yeah. Speaking of Timo, do you do any shopping on Timo?
No. Do you know the funny thing is I don't buy anything online.
Oof.
This is really odd, isn't it? Like I think I've said this a few times. I'm I run an online business that does £3.5 million a year, and I don't buy anything online myself. No, I'm very much a go to a shop kind of person.
Yeah.
Particularly clothes. I just can't be bothered with buying clothes and then them not fitting, and I just never send them back. So I'm very much a I think if it's sort of like I do buy like everyday items online. So we buy business bits online, like stationery and packing supplies and stuff. But anything I buy for myself, I always like to get it in person. It feels like more of an occasion as well when you actually go somewhere to buy it. So yeah, but then I can also tie in a bit of retail arbitrage. So interesting.
Yeah. No, I'm big on Timo. Getting a lot of like the electronics. Bought a sort of desktop barcode scanner. So rather than having I bought this as like a handheld scanner. We're moving to like the desktop one. So like when you go to Aldi and Sainsbury's, you scan the products there, where it's affixed on the desktop. So moving to those scanners, so that rather than having to pick up and scan an item, they can just sort of scan it like it's Aldi, sort of Sainsbury's. But I've been buying all that sort of thing from Temu, and it's usually about half price it is on Amazon. Really recommend Temu for people who are not using it yet. The delivery's like 1 to 2 weeks. You can get all sort of things from there. Maybe I shouldn't recommend that because I want everyone to
Gonna say you
buy from
recommend
Amazon.
people buy on Amazon. Keep it local.
Yeah, keep it local. But yeah, it's a big hit. Yeah.
Chris says the uniform, even if it's just a high vis, makes people feel more inclusive in the business, along with the team feeling amongst the staff. Yeah, that's very unrealized benefit there. Totally hadn't thought about. It definitely adds to the team dynamic. You want people to feel part of your organization, and the uniform really helps do that. And also, if you get branded clothing as well, think of the free advertising every time your staff go to the coffee shop or the butty van or out and about, then it's free advertising, isn't it?
Yep. So again, sort of, I was thinking of doing that, getting my sort of the brand our brand, branded hoodies, so people walk around and have it on, and it is free marketing because someone would look at it and be like, "Oh, what's that?" And that you might get a few sales that way. Yeah, for sure. I wonder what the return on marketing on that is. The return.
I feel like our Beyond the Buy Box sessions always turn into repricing sessions, and within 10 minutes we've got a question. What repricer do you use? We always seem to end up on the subject of repricing.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a big one though, isn't it? It is a big one.
yeah, I'm in the, I'm in the camp of, it doesn't matter really. It's the only really important thing is how quick the repricer is. Is it repricing in the minimum 2 minutes? And if it does that, then I think you're 99% there. So as long as it's a real-time repricer, and it's matching the buy box and reacting to price changes instantaneous. That's literally the only thing really. That's 99% of what it is. Other
Yeah.
than that, it's like small little algorithms where they might, increase the price slightly when you start going out of stock, and recognize sort of trends where you can maybe get a bit out of it. But the main thing really is just speed and winning that buy box, being reactive to price changes if the price goes down within your min and max, as long as your price is reacting to that. So it's always has the best chance to win the buy box. That's literally the only thing that matters. I think sort of, Channel Max, SDK, they all have instantaneous repricing, I believe. There's probably a few others that have that instant one, but they're the ones to go for. SellSnap is so expensive that, I mean, like, it's what, £800, $800 for an account. So, you got to be doing probably 100, 200,000 or something like that per month,
Hmm.
I'd say, and above to do that. Because if you're doing 80,000, then that's, that's 1% of your turnover, and that's a big chunk, which I don't think it will improve your margin by 1%. It might improve it by a touch, but I don't think your margin's gonna shoot up by 3,
Yeah.
4% by using
Yeah.
SellerSnap.
Yeah, I'm
So
not saying SalesNap's a bad repricer. I know Mark said he uses it, but I think for the lot of people, the cost, I mean, we're going to come on to talk a bit about this as well from the cost side of it. But I think at the moment, a lot of things cost a lot of money in business in general. Everything's very expensive. And actually, when you break down a lot of these softwares, a lot of these things that you have in your business, actually cutting them out may make you more profit than using them.
yeah,
Is SellerSnap making you more than $800 a month in additional profits?
yeah, yeah. You got
If
to
it
work
is,
out.
go for it. But is it actually? If you're only doing 10K a month in sales and you're spending $800 on a repricer, that isn't maths in my head. So
Yeah,
it's all relative, and there's not to say that any repricer is any better than others. Some have better features than others. So go for the one that works for your business. Because again, I did try SellerSnap. This isn't a dig at SellerSnap. It's a very good repricer, but it didn't work for my business because our biggest competitor is Amazon. And one of the things that SellerSnap prides itself on is not getting into price wars. But the problem is that when we didn't get into a price war with Amazon, we never sold anything because Amazon had the buy box 99% of the time. So we found that the repricer in SellerSnap was not aggressive enough. So there's different strokes for different folks, and what works for one person from a budget point of view, from a sales point of view, doesn't necessarily work for somebody else. So it's just try them. Basically, I'd get the free trials of as many as you can. Just set them up and see which one works best for your business, because we all do this business in slightly different ways. We sell different stock, and some reprices naturally work better for other people than others. And it's just simply finding which one is best for your business.
yeah. I would say SellerSnap, it's not going to increase your sales because there's a limit to the Amazon's API of how fast something
Mhm.
reprices, and the only way to get the maximized buy box is to always have your price matching the buy box, right? So you can win it over. I guess sometimes you can undercut and stuff like that, but all sorts. Every repricer does the undercutting by 1 penny. So if you're actually looking at it, you're only sort of looking to get SalesSnap if it's going to sort of increase prices when it's optimal to increase in prices to slightly increase your margin, and then you've got to have to take a good look and think it's probably not going to build. It's not going to bring up your overall margin by more than 1%. I'd say 1% at the very max. This algorithm will increase your overall margin, and 1% of 100,000 a month is £1,000. So you know, best case scenario, it increases your margins by 1%. I doubt it. I think it'd probably be more like 0.5. I'd say that's going to increase your overall profit by £500, which is less than a subscription. So that's where it's like
That's 100K. Yeah, that's a million pound a year salary. That is. By
exactly.
by the maths. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say if you're doing 5+ million, three, maybe 3+ million, then give it a try. Otherwise, it's definitely not worth it. I don't think. It might, yeah, maybe it does increase your margin by a small percentage, but you need enough revenue to make that worth it.
Yeah, again, we're not doubting the effectiveness of the software for increasing sales or increasing margin, but what we're saying is a lot of people, the moment in business, this is what I've been saying to the people in the hive and to people I've been in coaching and mentoring, is that things are very, very expensive. Everything is very expensive at the moment. And actually, particularly from a financial point of view, borrowing money is incredibly expensive. Most people in this business leverage debt to buy stock, one form of another, credit cards, Amazon loans, all that kind of stuff. And we need to be looking at our costs at the moment. We're in a cycle. We're not in a growth cycle. We're in a profit cycle. And if you look at the wider economic situation, the markets, look at all these big tech companies, they're all being pushed to make profit. Amazon, a good example. Amazon is all about it's making profit for its shareholders now. It's not about growth. And we as small business owners should follow that as well. We should be looking at, right, we're not in a growth phase. Money isn't cheap anymore. And we should be looking at our costs and going, actually, what things do we have in our business? And do these things actually make us money? Because I reckon for 90% of people who are listening to this, 10 to 20% of your product and stock makes 90% of your profit. And the rest of the stuff that you do is just noise, distraction, and cost. And actually focusing, doubling down on what makes you a lot of money will probably make your business way more profitable. Even if your sales slide slightly, at the end of the day, we're here to make profit. If you want to post great big sales numbers, that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's bottom line that matters. That's the key thing here.
Yeah, it's a few things there, and that's like 10% of your SKUs will make the majority of your revenue and profit. And I think that's why it's important to budget every week. And if you're easily hitting that budget every week without trying, then you need to reduce the amount of SKUs you're buying, if that makes sense. Because you basically, on every purchase order, every order, then you increase the minimum profit per SKU, and you're slowly narrowing down to less and less SKUs. You only really go wider if you can't hit that budget every week. So if your budget, say, is 30,000 or every week or whatever it is, and you're managing to hit 30,000 every week, then you probably have more room to narrow down your SKU count and make your business more streamlined and just have better lines. But yeah, it's interesting as well. Maybe we should touch on lending as well, because that is it's getting quite tricky now to scale, isn't it? I've still got an Amazon loan of 13.99% APR, but it's over 6 months. I am tempted to take it at some point, but it just doesn't give that much space to actually use that money, if that makes sense. If it's only 6 months. I've used other lenders, and they're also coming at like 15-16% APR. So it's one of those things where you have to use your profit to scale. But then the issue of that is that you want to reduce your profit to reduce corporation tax and all that sort of things. So it's sort of like, I have a dilemma now. It's like, do I take my profit out and do a sort of pension contribution to reduce the corporation tax? But then obviously I won't have that profit to scale, and I won't see that money till I'm 58, probably 55, 58. Or do I keep it in and just take the corporation tax hit of 19 to 12, probably about 22, 25% now for us? Or do I take that 13.99% APR loan and bank on that still being around in 6 months, and maybe it won't be around, and then you'd be like, oh, I just put away 60,000 to my pension that I won't see for 25 years. Damn it! So it's a tricky one, right? Where you're trying to figure out and juggle all those things, and it used to be super simple. Whereas money is so easy to get, and it was sort of 10.99 APR loans. I can't remember what they were sort of 2 years ago. Weren't they like?
So the lowest one we checked this before I came the other day, 2020, 6.9% over 12 months.
Wait, what's that?
We had a 12-month loan for 6.9%
from Amazon.
2020 from Amazon, 6.9%.
That's unbelievable. So when money was that cheap,
back end of 2020, I think it was about September 2020.
Yeah, so the cost of
double that. And the thing is, it's not even the rates, but we used to get offers every 3 months like clockwork. You could almost to the day go, there'll be a loan offer today. Not had one for over 6 months now. So, I just think that Amazon lending exists. It's still there, But I know because I did put a post out in the group a few weeks ago, so like who is actually getting it, and people are getting it. It does exist, you know. I know a lot of the lenders, a lot of the lower offers have moved to ULend now. So if you see, I don't know what the figure is, but from what I've seen, around 100K or under seems to be with ULend. Sort of above that tends to be with Amazon, but definitely the availability of the loans is not there. It's not what it was. I don't know if Amazon's lent all its money and therefore isn't lending as much, or maybe it's simply just looking at its returns and going, actually, a lot of these Amazon sellers are, you know, maybe they're over leveraged, or it doesn't want to put its money into sellers and thinks it's lent enough. Maybe its risk profiles changed. I don't know what's changed with it, but certainly one thing we are seeing is that the loans are harder to get, they're less frequent, and when they do come through, they're more expensive. So that really means is that if we are taking these financial loans, that we need to be making sure we're making money out of them. And again, what we're going to move on to talk about a bit about the arbitrage side is the things that we used to do with buying any and everything at low margins just doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. I think it's because all these companies are refinancing their loans from when it was cheap, right? So all these private equity companies and all these different companies had these loans from 3-4 years ago, 2-3 years ago, however long ago, at these ridiculously insane rates, and they're having to now refinance at 5-6% or at higher rates than they were before. So because they're having to refinance, their costs have gone up. So obviously then it's going to cost us more money. So it's a tough. I'd say if you're beginning from zero, it's definitely getting harder. But of course, there's still lots of profit to be made. I think it's just the ease of scale now is just it's hard to get that cheap financing, and it does make things a lot more difficult. Where you have to have a profitable business, and we're going to touch on profit sting in a bit, but that's sort of what profit sting is about, where trying to find as much profit in the business. And I'm sure when Natalie's here next week or the week after, she'll explain a bit more, and you're going to explain a little bit. But having a profitable business and finding all these unique ways of listing on Amazon and unique opportunities is the way forward. Because this business still works. It's still very profitable for us. We're having the best year we've ever had. We're growing still 40% a year, and our sales in February are still really good. January was better than our December, which is, if things are still really, really good, it's just that cheap financing. So Johnny had a dilemma as your age, and that started my pension. So this is a SIP, right? So I have, and I just I always max out sort of stocks and shares, ISAs, and one recommendation to everyone is always max out that 20,000 a year if you can in that ISA, and keep building and putting in some index. That's the move, isn't it, to retire early? It's the FIRE movement, they call it, financial independence, to retire early. But what I'm talking about is, obviously I have that 20,000, but I also have a SIP allocation of 60,000 a year, right? Where you can do direct company contributions of 60,000 up to 60,000, and it completely wipes off your corporation tax. It goes against it's a write-off on corporation tax. So if you had £60,000 profit in your company, you could literally put 60,000, all of that, into your personal pension and pay 0% tax. It's amazing if you have that money, and it's a cheat code to not paying tax. A lot of people don't know about this, actually, but this is actually pretty golden advice if you're making good amount of profits or even any profit. Just try and park away if you don't need that money now and you want to save for your retirement, then put that money directly from your company to a SIP. That's definitely a recommendation. I think everyone should be doing that if they can, because it's what you're saving up to 25% on corporation tax, and you're saving 20 to 40 to 50% on personal tax as well, rather than paying yourself. So it's definite financial hacks that UK business is so good. It's just we have it so nice. Yeah, we have it so nicely.
Mark said he's still got 13.9%. The rate doesn't change regardless of size. And I've spoken to Mark, and I can see his loan size is sizable, shall we say, very sizable. So it's interesting to know that actually you don't get a better rate the bigger the loan. That seems to be the minimum rate now for Amazon, 13.9%.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything offered lower than that.
Yeah, so we have 13.99 APR over 6 months. So it's like 300,000 over 6 months. But it's just a short amount of time, right?
Yeah. I don't think we are going to see it go higher, personally. Maybe 1% higher. I think no, I don't think. I think this is the
Touch
peak.
wood, please.
Touch wood.
Yeah.
But I do think that the criteria is going to be stricter. I think you will see smaller loan offers. Because I mean we got offered crazy amounts of money, like absolutely crazy amounts of money. And like it was way more than like the business should really be taking on. We didn't take some of them because they were just like stupid. They were like £500,000 loans on a 3.5 million turnover business is just mental. So we were a bit like, "Ooh, actually, that's a bit much." And I think Amazon's going to dial that down a lot now. I think even the big sellers are going to see their loans being sort of like 200, 250K on sort of 2 or 3 million rather than £500,000 on 3 million turnover kind of thing. Ben says he got 6% from uncapped yesterday. That's a good rate, definitely a good rate. Yeah, Rose says she loves the accountancy advice, dancing in the legal grey area to get the best deal for sure. Ooh, done that one. Yeah, so one of the things we want to talk about today was very much kind of leading into, it's very similar to what we just discussed today. Kind of, I think the general business environment is very much about profitability. And one of the things we've just launched in the Hive as well is the Profit Sting training, which is going to be starting next week. And this is very much taking traditional arbitrage and making it more profitable, essentially. It's going to be very much about cash flow management, much more advanced management styles within your business. We're going to be looking about how you can secure your arbitrage business in terms of having particular brands. I'm sure everybody's aware that in arbitrage at the moment, it's particularly difficult from a sourcing point of view. A lot of brands are being gated now. I've noticed that 3 brands we used to sell have been gated in the past 2 weeks. Transparency codes are becoming a real issue for the arbitrage market. So I think the transition is going to be very much about moving into your own opportunities through arbitrage. So when we say, is arbitrage dead? Arbitrage is not dead. Absolutely, arbitrage is not dead. And arbitrage is fundamentally taking things from one marketplace and moving it to another. But what I think is dead is very much what we would have seen 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, the very traditional kind of hands-off approach of a business where you could pass it over to a team of outsourced people who would find deals on Argos on the 3 for 2, send them to a prep center, and then ship that into to Amazon and make money. I'm reticent to say it's dead because there's always life in every market. But I think that the most of the people who I see complaining about Amazon are following that strategy of the very simple strategy of get a VA, buy deals from online retailers, send them to Amazon Prep Center, and then, but there's the same thing as 50 other people are doing. And they're the same people that are moaning that the prices are being tanked every week and that it's not profitable to run this business anymore. So I think very much that arbitrage has its place, but I think it needs to be done in a much different way.
Yeah, I think so. I just realized I was on mute before.
Oh,
I was just talking about the 6% uncapped loan.
you would have just carrying on.
Yeah. That can't be over a year though. There's no way. There's no way that's a APR, is it?
It could be an upfront fee, maybe over. I don't know.
It's upfront fee. Yeah, upfront fee. Yeah. But yeah, I think I think you're right. I think I mean, I don't know I don't know how the US market is doing. I'm not really, I haven't really kept too much on how the Americans are doing. I haven't really heard too much from the sellers and how online arbitrage is working over there. We've tried online arbitrage in Germany, and we gave it up because it just wasn't really worth it. And we're finding unique opportunities like what we've taught before in the Hive, and that is cross-border shipments and storing in Amazon fulfillment centers. That's what we're doing now, and that works really well. we had a shipment actually that came in 2 days ago, and we sold 25 units in a few hours. We're like, oh, this really works. But yeah, the standard sort of arbitrage doesn't work too well for us. I'm sure there is angles, and people have worked out different ways of doing it and got really good sources where they managed to make it work. But I think, yeah, you're right. The sort of more unique opportunities are the way forward for that. Which is yeah, I don't know if Matt, you want to describe a little bit more about.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things that we're doing really well on is the import export side to Europe. In terms of arbitrage, and again, back to what I was saying about doing arbitrage, but in different ways, taking products from the UK and shipping them to the EU and vice versa. There's a massive opportunity in that people just are not tapping into. Brexit was a barrier, but barriers create opportunity if you can overcome the barrier. And one of the things that we're doing really well is we're just literally buying UK sourced product, UK retail products, and shipping them to Europe, and reselling them in Europe. And we're making higher margins. There's no competition because people aren't buying them from retailers anymore in the UK, because an individual is never going to do that. So there's literally a market just in that side of it as well. And again, the arbitrage works really well with the bundles. One of the things that we do a lot of in the Hive is creating your own opportunities, securing your own listings. The generic thing has been a big shake up to the Amazon marketplace, because obviously a lot of people used to kind of create their own opportunities, their own listings under generic, but that's now gone. The only way you can get around that is to have a registered brand or an unregistered brand. So a lot of what we're sort of teaching in the Hive is to help people secure these opportunities, so that arbitrage has its place, absolutely has its place in terms of sourcing the products, but then you've got to sell them in a different way. The days of I'm going to Argos, I'm going to buy 10 pieces and I'm going to sell them on Amazon, it's gone. It's gone. The only way that that potentially could work is from a retail arbitrage point of view, in terms of you have supply availability that nobody else has, because a lot of products in retail stores aren't necessarily advertised online. But it's still a lot more difficult than it ever used to be. And I noticed retail arbitrage, some of the retailers I deal with, the issue isn't the pricing, but the issue is the amount of stock in stores. I'm certainly finding that there's a way less stock holding as more retailers move to online offerings. The quantity of stock in stores is much less. So I used to do mega retail arbitrage runs, and the simple fact is that it's hard to make them justifiable these days, because whereas I used to go into stores and buy pallets of stock, there just isn't that so much stock holding now. A lot of it is, oh yeah, we only have one or two in the store, and a lot of it's online. So not talking from a Tesco kind of perspective, but a lot of smaller retailers, that's the way it's going. And that's where I've always talked about in my training, is where you've got to deal with people inside the stores who can get stuff in for you, who can let you know where the stock is. The simple going around and hoping for the best, it doesn't really work. It's all about doing things in different ways.
Yeah, I don't know if that's even OA. If you're starting to speak to the store managers, that seems more almost B2B if you're having those relationships, right? Because they're sort of sorting you out on bulk stock, and it seems more of a different relationship than you going in as a customer and buying stuff to flip. Yeah, I've never done. I've never ventured that myself. Yeah, for me, it's too hands on. Kind of want to be more. Yeah, I don't know. With online arbitrage, I haven't experienced a sort of stock shortage, but then again, I haven't ordered from a retailer for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely still opportunities, isn't there?
of course there is. Yeah, of
There's
course
got to
there is.
be. There's got to be. But yeah, it's just something I haven't really. Yeah, obviously being the wholesale, just brand directs. I think there's so much. There's still so much opportunity in that, but that's coming later in the year, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's another thing that we're exploring as well. We're doing direct brand deals. Someone's said, interesting, how would I learn about selling UK products in the EU? Is that in the Hive? Yes, we've got a complete module on selling UK products in Europe and importing from Europe as well to sell in the UK. And again, one of the big opportunities that we discuss in there is that brand management deals. Essentially, European brands, UK brands, you offer to sell their products either in Europe or sell their products in the UK. But it's more from a UK perspective. A lot of EU products, brands don't want to sell in the UK. This is one of the big things about Brexit. I don't want to make it a political debate, which is why it was so stupid, is that you have access to 26 other countries. Why are you going to make a little effort to sell in one, unless it's absolutely core market, which for most it isn't. But it doesn't mean that there isn't a massive opportunity there for people inside the UK to take these European brands and bring them over to the UK and sell them on Amazon in the UK on a much more exclusive basis. So there's a lot of opportunity out there in the Amazon space, in business, in wholesale, in B2B, and in arbitrage. But you've just got to think about doing things in different ways. And it's a bit more advanced, it's a bit more work, but the reward's a lot better. I think that's what one of the things we really push in the Hive is we're not interested in the lowest hanging fruit, really not. The simple buying from one place and selling it on Amazon FBA, it may work, but for most people it doesn't work. You've got to think about these opportunities a bit more outside of the box, a bit more with a bit more longevity.
Yeah. There's a few questions. Well, actually, one question.
Someone says the best OA is in the USA. Yeah, so I don't sell in the USA, but I have heard that OA is pretty good in the USA. But again, the reason OA works probably better in the USA is the sheer size of the marketplace. If you can source things in Walmart in one state and sell them on the other side of the country through Amazon, obviously there's not that, the size of the country makes it much more viable. The problem with the UK market is you always hear in wholesale is too small. And therefore that's why, the same deal you buy in Tesco, in your local Tesco, is the same deal that everyone else can get. It's not quite the same situation in the US just because of the sheer size of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a bit different in America, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a much bigger marketplace. Absolutely, yeah, a bit different.
Not sure what's going on with that country though. It seems to be their debt crisis is just crazy, isn't it? As well, because the consumers keep spending, so it's just I don't know. I haven't really heard too much from the people in the Amazon space in America. A lot of it's sort of all the sort of, so I guess people are taking January's off, but I don't know. All the bigger sort of social media accounts I haven't really been hearing too much about recently in America, so I don't know how it's going. Maybe I'm just haven't got the right audience. But if you're selling in America, then how's it going for you? Just any problems recently? Just let us know. That obviously about a year or two ago, there was a big movement, people selling in America, but unless I don't know what happened, but those sort of courses and that sort of information sort of died down. Obviously, Natalie had the issues in America, which I think what was it, a declaration? Which was it? What was the issue again? She had in
Section 3 suspension.
Section 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if that quieted everything down in America or scared people off, but yeah, if you're selling in America, I'd be curious to know how it's going. I haven't heard anything regarding the American market for a while.
Yeah,
maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, Ben's asked a question. He says, I've clicked all the options selling items in Europe, but have yet to get a single European sale. Is there any settings I may be missing? Reach out to me, Ben. We'll have to have a look at it. This could be a myriad of things that could be causing the sales not to happen. Just to clarify as well, when you sell on Amazon, there's two kind of fulfillment methods in Europe. So there's EFN and there's Pan EU. So EFN is selling stuff from the UK to Europe, whereas Pan EU is you send stuff to Europe to sell in Europe. Now, Pan EU is by far the more profitable and effective program by a country mile. There's no real comparison, but there is cost involved, time and effort to get the Pan EU set up. Whereas the EFN is literally you click a few buttons and the offers go live. But because it's coming from the UK to Europe, there's a lot more restrictions on what can and can't be sold. And also there's a lot much higher fees because obviously the shipping, you're not getting volume shipping because you're shipping every order individually rather than in bulk. So a few different things to look at. But yeah, Ben, if you reach out to me afterwards, I can certainly have a chat to you and see if we can sort that out for you, definitely.
Yeah, I think there's always a bit of a difference, isn't there, between EFN. We haven't done too much EFN. We've been speaking to a few different carriers trying to get Europe back on board and trying to go direct to Europe. It's a little. I'm always just a little bit nervous with it because of you know, every time I used to send stuff to Ireland, it'd always get rejected by InPost. I don't know if they sorted that. I don't know if there's actually reliable international couriers now where everything goes smoothly. Um, I don't know if there's a carrier that's actually really worked that out. I know speaking to Every, they're opening a few fulfillment centers in Amsterdam and in Holland, I believe,
Yeah.
potentially Germany as well. And what Every going to do is offer, I think, either merchant fulfilled or seller fulfilled Prime from their warehouse in Netherlands to ship out to all of Amazon in Europe. So that's something that they're trying to do as well. I think Every are trying to do that sort of third party fulfill, like prep center fulfillment side quite heavily. But yeah, they're trying to
That
enter
that's the,
Europe as
that's the
well.
route we're going this year. We're going for the third party approach. We're looking at setting something up in the Netherlands in the next couple of
Yeah,
weeks, where we essentially ship goods en masse to the Netherlands, and then they're distributed around the EU from there. That's far and away the best way to manage it, simplest way to manage it, and
just reach
of
out to
course,
Every.
yeah, and I mean the beauty as well when you do that is it's not just because I'm very much multi-platform. It's not just Amazon. You know, if you think about it, you can then do eBay orders. You can do your own website in multiple countries. So it's all about opening those doors. And once you get the European setup right, then you can access multiple markets, multiple platforms. And essentially, what you can do is just take. This is back to what I was saying before about doing what works and doing more of it. Take what's working in your business and replicate that in Europe. You know, take the best bits of the business that's working really, really well, making you loads of money, and just copy and paste that into each European country. You could 10x your business and make way more profit rather than adding in multiple layers of complexity and adding in all different product lines and sourcing different categories. If you've got a really good product or a really good niche that's working well, let's just take that, copy and paste it into Europe, copy and paste it into America, rather than necessarily trying to go, well, the only way to make more money is to sell more products. And that's, I think that's is changing the mindset. But this year is going to be very much a mindset shift away from more is more, because more is not always more. More sales, the only thing that's certain is more costs. That's absolutely the only thing that's true. You know, and sometimes actually focusing down, doubling down on what's working really well in that business and replicating that in other countries, or trying to scale that side of the business and cutting out all the noise, all the rubbish, all the other things you're doing that may bring in revenue, but do they actually make you a profit? That would be my question. If we can cut some of those out, then actually we can make a way more profitable business than just by simply doing more.
Yeah, different marketplaces, channels. We've just got onto TikTok now. Um, like the problem with TikTok is the listing creation is quite manual, quite tricky. But once you've got that up, it's quite good. But yeah, me being me, I've automated the the TikTok uh ship product uploads now.
Nice.
So what you can do now, which is pretty cool. And I think I've spoke about this before, is if you use the Open API, um, you can use ChatGPT program in a script instead of having to type it in. So you can sort of pre-program, you know, ChatGPT to sort of fish out the what you want. So I've hit, my TikTok product uploads now are pretty good, where um, we can automate the product descriptions, we can automate what the different product attributes are for that listing as well. Um, it will pass all the information and get in the correct format, and then I can now just take information from my warehouse system, and then put it directly on TikTok with like a really good listing as well. So the TikTok is a big channel that everyone go into, and I'm trying to explore it now to just try and get onto
Mm.
that, because if you speak to anyone who's under the age of 18 and ask where the last thing they bought, what channel did they buy from last, they'd probably say TikTok. It's
Or
becoming
Timu.
like the
Timu's the big one in my warehouse. All the stuff love Timu.
Timu, yeah, Timu and TikTok. So
Yeah.
TikTok is very good as well, because buying products from TikTok is very cheap right now, because TikTok are throwing a bunch of promotions in and discounts that
I
they're
believe the
paying
fees
for.
were like 1% when I looked. They were like 1% seller fees on most products for the first
But
either amount of sales or amount of time. I can't quite remember exactly what it was, but they were really cheap.
I think it's first 3 or 6 months is like 0.8%.
Yeah.
Then it goes up to 5%, which is really, really cheap. And then when you put shipping on, they will discount that, sometimes take that off completely to the customer, so that the customer's only paying sort of, so you put a product for £2 and your shipping is £3.49 or whatever it is. TikTok will do a discount where they offer, £3 off the shipping or free shipping, so that product only costs £2 to the person buying on TikTok. So TikTok are offering crazy deals right now. So I think if you can get on TikTok and work up that out, I think it's the thing right now, that it's the move. And I'll report back soon and let everyone people know how it's going. I've got a few friends selling sort of like 20 to 30 items there a day, sort of thing. Um, you know, some of the bigger companies I know are doing like 80-90% of their revenue through TikTok now. So it's definitely
It's good.
it's a new thing. It's a new thing, isn't it? TikTok.
Yeah.
But yeah, quite a tricky API. So if you are going to build it, then you might need to get a good developer to do that for you. Not someone from Fiverr would probably be able to, might struggle, but yeah, it's a good little channel. But yeah, you're right. Just taking existing listings and good product lines and putting it into Europe, America, different channels.
Well, I know other platforms, exactly, doing what you do well and replicating the success, taking your best selling listings on Amazon, putting them on eBay, putting them on TikTok. Someone's just mentioned OnBuy as well. I'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, OnBuy is another potential market as well. So there's loads of opportunity just simply replicating what does well. And I think people really overcomplicate this business, and they think that they have to do more sales to make more profit. Well, yes, you have to do more sales, but adding more product lines in, adding more staff, adding more warehousing, more loans, more debt isn't necessarily the right way to make more profit.
I don't even know what happened to OnBuy. Is people buying from OnBuy still?
So yeah, I know. And just let me just jump back to this one because I know Mark said it. He's going to make it his global HQ with the Netherlands. Back to the European thing. Less corporation tax. That's a good one for you, Johnny. You'll like that. Scott
Yeah.
loves Every as well, but he says that they don't scan things at the warehouse. You've moved to Every, haven't you? For most of your parcels now.
Yeah. So in Scott's case, because he's down south, the nearest hub to down south would be something like near Heathrow Airport or near Gatwick Airport. I can't remember which one it is. But basically, the hubs are not located ideally if you're down south. So basically, they have to then ship it to whatever it's called, like a depot, like a shipping depot, and then it gets transferred from the shipping depot to the hub where it's actually finally scanned.
Okay.
So what happens there, and they're aware of the issue, is that it won't get scanned until after the cut-off time. So for us, we go straight to the hub in Rugby or wherever it is, or Coventry. I can't remember where it is.
There's a big one
Rugby.
in Rugby just on the M6. Yeah, just off the M6, isn't it? Or it's just
Yes.
on the M1 or where the M1 and the M6 meet. It's about there.
Yeah,
Rugby.
something like that. And it's like, we're about 30 minutes away from there, I think, or something like that.
Mhm.
So we can it's really good for us. They love it. Where we just put pallets on the truck at the end of the day, and it's been working well since. And every is good. Their SLAs have improved to over 99% for next day now. So they had a really bad reputation, but they're actually got one of the best records right now for on-time delivery. So I definitely recommend Every if you can move to them. The only thing Every really kind of sucks for is cash flow. And the reason I say that is because you have to buy Every labels through buy shipping, which just obviously reduces from your balance, so your disbursements will be less. So you're basically getting no sort of credit terms. With Amazon shipping, the credit terms are insane, like so good. But the account management is just terrible with Amazon shipping, unless you're probably doing 1,000+ a day, and in that sort of tier, or 1,200 plus a day in that sort of tier. But so far Every super simple. Amazon shipping, I don't really get what they're doing right now. On a Monday they'd bring like 6 fans and they'll all scan each individual product at my warehouse, and it'll take them like half an hour, 40 minutes, and there'd be like 6 of them doing it. And I'm just thinking, like, I could probably get cheaper shipping if you just optimize this and put stuff straight on the pallet. Yeah. So if you have a business account directly, they offer 2 weeks credit line. Well,
I think we
yeah,
both clicked at the same time.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I've asked, and as far as I'm aware, it just comes directly from your buy shipping account. I'll ask my account manager if there's a way around it, but it just gets reduced from your balance on Seller Central. Was my experience for it for this. This is like an Amazon every account. It's not like a corporate or business account. It's like the actual Amazon Direct sort of thing where all your volume is this is just Amazon volume. But yeah, it's good. They put me on like the super tier rate, and it's 50p cheaper to fulfill an item, which is ridiculous.
That's
But
mad.
just the cash flow is just a bit rubbish. Yeah. Um, nice new one in Barnsley. Is that who said that?
That's
No one
mad.
has the no one has StreamYard. Everyone needs to
No,
log
I
into
know. Yeah,
StreamYard.
you need to like ticking
Where's
off. Get the StreamYard because all we can say is Facebook user
where's Cindy to pick up on doing that?
to give the link. Yeah.
Yeah, Cindy, where are you? What's going on? um, if you have a business account directly, I offer 2 weeks. I do not use buy shipping through Amazon. Yeah, so you have to like we use Seller Fulfill Prime, so you have to use the Amazon buy shipping um, courier codes, and I'll speak to them if there's any way of doing credit terms, or anything like that. But as far as I'm aware, and from what I've got, you can't. Um, I use that API link with their booking portal. Yeah, I think again, I'm not sure if that is for seller fulfilled because you've got to buy shipping through the actual Amazon portal to actually get that 98% plus metric that's required. For TikTok Shop, are you going to use every two? No, I don't have a direct every account. I just have the Amazon every account. So I'm just going to use. No, I'm not using fulfillment by TikTok. I'm just going to do direct from here. I'll look into fulfillment by TikTok. I don't know too much about it to be honest yet, but
I
it's
didn't
just
know
gonna be direct.
fulfillment are there. I didn't know there was no fulfillment. That's interesting.
Yeah. So the one thing I've gathered from TikTok right now is even though if you put your shipping template as next day, it's still showing as like 5 to 7 days. So
Right.
I don't know. I've looked at other competitors as well, and it seems to be the same. Not sure what's going on there, but I'm still learning. But yeah, we're probably going to just use Royal Mail or Amazon shipping for those sort of direct for orders, not through Amazon, through eBay and Shopify and TikTok. Um, I do have StreamYard, maybe browser updated. Huh. Yeah, maybe something's happened because it does seem like a lot of the users today,
Yeah.
just Facebook users. Yeah.
And jump back to this question about on
Oh yeah.
buy. So, does anyone sell on buy? Yes, I sell on buy. Um, it's okay. I think it's probably a fair way of putting it. I think for certain products it works quite well. So refurbished tech items, it's niche on. Um, general consumer goods, I think it's quite good on. I think if you anything out with those two niches, it's probably not really going to work for you. Toys is quite good on there, I guess. Um, but yeah, the traffic's quite good, but we just haven't had many sales. It's just been a bit slow. So I think on buy, if you're selling tech, I think on buy is definitely a platform you should prioritize. Toys maybe something you should prioritize. But if you say to me, "Oh, I've not got my eBay set up yet," then I would say get your eBay set up before you even like consider the word on buy. I think on buy is a platform that's a bit like TikTok in terms of once you've leveraged Amazon, once you've leveraged eBay, then it's a natural progression onto either on buy or TikTok. Probably TikTok and then on buy, unless it's like you say you're in the niche. But certainly, you should get your eBay sorted before you venture onto on buy.
Yeah. How are you marketing your store or listings on TikTok? I think the best way is organic by creating your own videos and stuff in the warehouse. It's always going to be the best. Obviously, the most hands-on approach. You can run catalog ads as well, so direct sort of catalog ads which will market your products as well. You can also set up affiliate commissions as well. So for each product, you can set a affiliate commission, and then what you can do is invite collaborators. There's a whole affiliate
Hmm.
section of the app, so you can invite relevant affiliates to market your products, and then you offer them a commission on every sale. I think those are the sort of three main ones. There's obviously live shopping feeds as well, so you can start
Yes, that's
packing.
what I've seen a lot of people doing. Seems people doing quite well out of that.
Yeah, so what you do there is you set up a packing station with a background and stuff like that, and then you can select up to 100 products that you sort of want to um, do in that shop. So you create a shopping background. You put 100 different products in your background, and then hopefully you'll get orders from that you can start packing orders for people who order directly there. So they'll see an order come through. You'll see an order come through, and then you'll be able to pack it there and then. So you probably most people select stuff like Prime, American Goods, stuff like that, like Prime drinks and random sort of cool little snacks and stuff like that usually work the best. Stuff that's the most visually best. Yeah, the other
Yes.
thing as well is you can select 100 products and you go around the warehouse and show all these 100 products and you give the buy links as you show the products. Um, that's like the organic way and probably the best way of doing it, probably the most fun sort of way of doing it.
Probably the most profitable as well, because you're not getting up any commission doing that, essentially, are you?
Yeah, precisely. Um, so yeah, I'm still trying. I'm still getting on that. I'm not an expert by any means. I've just done some research. I've only literally last night worked out how to programmatically like automate TikTok product listing uploads because it took me about this weekend. I sort of did all the code for that, so now that's actually working properly and got my sort of stock sync working as well. So, you know, again, I'll report back probably in the Hive or by in the actual main channel about how I'm doing, and hopefully it won't be zero when I report back.
No,
One sale to
I think the
me.
momentum of TikTok is by its very nature going to make it successful. And also like, you're early in the platform, and then obviously, like they say, people say, when was the best time to start Amazon? Well, 10 years ago, yes, was the best time to start Amazon, but the second best time is today. So the same with TikTok, you're quite early on in the platform's development. So TikTok really only came out 4 years ago as a platform. 2020 was when I really sort of first started hearing about TikTok during lockdown. So it's quite a new platform, really. So if you are getting on there now, you are going to be getting first mover advantage, and you can really make some good ground while there's a lot less competition on there. Because I'm sure, and a couple of years' time, there'll be groups dedicated to starting businesses on TikTok. If the momentum's going the way it's going to carry on going, so if you can get first mover advantage, you've got all the tools in your business. I definitely think it's one to get on.
Yeah, I mean, there's been shops on there for about a year or so, but if I look at my Amazon competitors, not many are on TikTok yet. So there's a very small percentage of your competition who are on TikTok right now, and I think it's worth getting onto.
Mm.
Because I think you're not on. Me and you haven't been on TikTok yet, really. But it's something you want to look into because it just does make sense.
Yeah.
But like it's still like a small percentage of competition on there. And I think if you're very creative, like being in front of like the camera, like someone like Hayden probably kill it on TikTok Shop because he loves filming himself. So yeah.
No offense implied.
No offense applied, but he would probably kill it. Someone like that, the Luke Corwells and stuff like that. I know they're doing well on their personal accounts, but TikTok shops as well and live packing and stuff like that. It'd be really cool. Yeah, yeah. Just get really enthusiastic about it and start packing. I might do one myself to be honest, because I've just researched it, but I need to create that sort of backdrop, because I can't do it here because like it's a window. But I was gonna make upstairs and do a little backdrop and
Okay.
see how it works. And I invite everyone here to come to my live, so it's not just 0 people in it. Artificially increase it and get people to buy some stuff. But yeah, the concept's cool for sure. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. It's a really interesting thing, and it's almost like I saw through the lives, very much like the shopping channel, isn't it? It's the 21st century shopping channel in a way.
I
You
think
said you're going on, but the difference is it's a lot more personable because you're buying from the actual company direct, and I think people build up that real rapport. And I think it's got the power to build brands, TikTok, unlike any other platform. Amazon, particularly, Amazon is a machine, and Amazon is very good for making money on. But you're never going to be able to really build a brand on Amazon. You know, I reckon if you went around the street and said to people, "Do you know where half your Amazon stuff comes from?" They say it's from Amazon. They don't even realize third-party sellers exist.
Yeah.
It's hard to stand out on Amazon as a brand, which is where your TikTok really has that leverage over the other platforms, in that you can be there on the platform and people are seeing you as a business owner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be the next big thing. I think like even Nestle, I know she doesn't like to pack orders, but I just like talking to an audience for a few hours and get them to just talk just on
Just
their own. Be able to
natural
talk
TikToker, but a born TikToker right there.
on TikTok. Um, she's going to do that for. Yeah, I think that's the move. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think we can talk about more about TikTok, but Matt, we just reached the hour.
Yeah.
Um,
I was going to ask this question: is anyone going to the packing fair at the NEC 21st, 22nd? Don't know if anyone's going. I'm personally not going, but if anybody is, I think this is great for bundlers, private label brands. If you're trying to look to build decent packaging for your custom packaging for your product, definitely well worth a look. I'm sure you'll meet lots of niche suppliers. I think a lot of people tend to go to Kite. There's nothing wrong with Kite. They're probably not the cheapest on the market or the most bespoke because they're such a big company. So definitely potential in that, I would say, if that's your bag.
yeah, AliExpress and stuff like that is always good. Alibaba, but obviously, to make it worthwhile, you could order sometimes a full truckload of a full container. But yeah, I think Kite's actually is actually pretty good pricing. Their prices came down recently as well, which is really good.
Yeah, they are
A lot
competitive. They are competitive for sure.
packaging is starting to go down in price, which
Good,
is
good.
a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
Someone said I didn't even think about selling on TikTok, and I make the videos on there. Well, there you go. Loads of value out of today's Beyond the Buy box. But yeah, this will say there's so much opportunity on TikTok for selling. So if you've got a brand, you're already heads and shoulders above the competition because you actually understand the platform and you understand the TikTok, and hopefully some of your videos are doing well already. So therefore, you could definitely translate that into sales conversion for sure.
yeah, yeah. Exciting times,
It
right?
is actually, it really
Yeah,
is. It's a really interesting time. I think we are going through a bit of a change in e-commerce. I think this is always how it is. Things always come and go. Opportunity comes and goes, and the opportunity, as we said, for arbitrage, I think is going. I think truthfully, traditional OA arbitrage, the opportunity is going, but there's new opportunities always appearing. We've discussed so many of them today. The European opportunity because of Brexit, the USA market, taking UK products to the USA and sourcing within the USA because of its size and market share, the TikTok opportunity. We've mentioned OnBuy, we mentioned eBay. So the opportunity never disappears. Opportunity just changes.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah, cool. Right, that's been fun. I've enjoyed talking about all these different topics. It's always exciting. There's a few cool new things, new players. You know, every TikTok call taking over and becoming the new, the new kids. Not really the new kids on the block, because obviously every like one of the biggest, but
Yeah,
they're getting. If you have a new A player in the
they're
Amazon
doing
game,
the same things in different ways, aren't they? They're
they're just
just
improving. They're just becoming such a
improving.
good business now, and 99%, they're smart. They're like 99% SOAs above that for next day. Last month was it's just really impressive. So and TikTok taking over. Yeah, I really think there's some really good new opportunities that people need to look into, and yeah, like I said, exciting times for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Thanks
Right,
for today, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.
cheers everyone. Bye bye.